Hello and welcome back to Eowyn Part 3, where I'll be talking about the embroidery. I've shown a little bit of it already in Part 1, but let me tell you exactly what I did. The film costume's neckline has this lovely interlace motif done in machine embroidery, but unlike the filmmakers, I had time to spend a month doing something a little bit more medieval. I took inspiration from embroidery from the Anglo-Saxon period, which is the historical period which informs much of Rohan's design aesthetic and the language as well. Because I'm embroidering on a fuzzy wool, I couldn't draw the design on accurately, so I used a soluble interfacing and heat erase pen. More on that later. Using very fine silver and gold-plated zari threads with a cotton core, I used couching with filament silks for the interlace design. Then for the finishing touches, I used even finer vintage Japanese threads to fill in the gaps. Then I cut off all the waist knots, and it's looking pretty good. Finally, it's time to remove that ugly interfacing. First, I unpicked all of the tacking stitches holding it in place, and then I cut away the interfacing as close to the embroidery as felt safe to do. Finally, I ran it under a warm tap, and the water dissolved that ugly interfacing. Then I let it to dry and gently ironed it to remove the last of the heat erase pen. I'm really pleased with how this embroidery turned out. It took me about a month to stitch and was totally worth it. I'll do another video on how I put this gown together.